episode of The Life of a Musical Theater Songwriter. It's the day. It's the last day. It's time to fill out the application, and let me tell you what time it is. It is currently 1:31 p.m. And this is where I want to take a little time to just be honest and talk about something that I've been struggling with today. I have refused to come into the workspace, which is my little office, because it means that I have to finish. It's one thing to push towards the finish line with a goal. It's another thing to know that in 7.5 hours, this will be done, and that rain or shine, I'm going to have to submit something, and that there's nothing more I can do. So I've been avoiding coming in here like the plague, and finally my husband walked me in here and he's just like, you need to do this because this is what your dream. So that's the reality of the situation. So now I'm gonna get to work. So see you in a bit with an update. I submitted, it's over. We'll find out that date if I get it or not. So I'll post more about the submission process tomorrow because it almost didn't go through and it was really scary. Hi, I just wanted to check in, and yeah, I'm not sure why TikTok decided to suppress the video. Maybe it's the word submitted that it doesn't like, but I literally submitted my application. So in case you haven't seen it, the little update is right there. I'm hoping to do a more thorough talk and video of like what happened during the application process because it was quite scary and it almost didn't go through. And I do have video footage of that day, so I'm thinking I'm gonna put that together so you guys can see the actual process. But in case you're looking for like when I submitted and when I find out, that little video should help you. And again, I'm not sure why TikTok decided that you guys didn't need to see that, even though it's probably one of the most important videos I made. Maybe it's because it's 15 seconds and they don't want you making sure, I don't know. But it is there, so for those of you asking, it's right there. Hi, I'm Maiga, and on this episode of The Life of a Musical Theater Songwriter, I am now going to share with you the video that I recorded when I submitted my application for the BMI Musical Theater Workshop. It obviously didn't go as expected, but it got done. So I figured you should see the video, then I can talk about it a little bit at the end. So, okay, I'm submitting.
Cool.
Okay, let's do this. 3, 2, 1.
Click.
There was an error.
No!
Good thing I saved everything.
It says it's something in the forms that you've submitted.
Okay, let's try this again. 3, 2, 1. Valid form of ID? So at that point, for the error, we got this ID error where it was like something wrong with the identification of it. We couldn't figure it out, and so then after a couple tries, we stopped recording to try and get it. So what ended up working? Well, surprisingly, Microsoft Edge, it's like, for those of you who don't know, like Microsoft has its own little version of Firefox or Chrome, and I was submitting on Chrome and I was having issues with that, so then I had to use Microsoft Edge and it went through. That's the only way it went through because we tried changing my name, my phone number, my address, like the links and stuff to make sure it would read different, but it was not. It was not reading. So let's jump to the rest of the video. It's in! It's in! After some major problems, it's in.
Yay!
God, I really thought that was over.
No.
Finally, Jesus.
Shout out to Max for having a cool mind in this moment. Okay, 19 days. I'm gonna go eat In-N-Out now.
Yeah, just chill. Take some time off your streaming. Just fucking chill.
Yeah. Alright, I love you, bro.
Don't forget to tell love you too. Don't forget to tell people to.
Oh, I will. I'll text them. Bye!
Bye.
Bye! It's in! It's in! We did it! And so, yeah, that's the whole thing. That was the whole experience. It was scary, but it's in. And now we have, as of me recording this video, 17 days before we find out. And I need to start practicing hardcore. So I'll be making vlogs about that and whatever else comes to my fancy because, you know, the musical doesn't stop being written just because we are waiting to hear back. This is just one step in hopefully the many steps that it takes to make a musical come to life. And so yeah, thank you so much for watching the whole video. If you have, so with that, I'll see you in a bit. Hi, I'm Maiga, and welcome back to another episode of The Life of a Musical Theater Songwriter. The submission process for the BMI Musical Theater Workshop might be done, but there's one thing I've avoided in preparation for this over the last couple of weeks, and that is maintaining my space. I've let everything kind of fall to the wayside, and so there's laundry to be folded, stuff to be cleaned, just stuff to be put back in its place, and I thought, you know, that is a real day in the life for me. I'm not, you know, writing a musical the whole time. and I thought I'd show you that. Just kind of take you on a date with me, but also like motivate myself to clean. This will help with that. Wearing my I'm shirt from Cowboy Bebop, so let's just get started. And I look like a mess, but that's the reality of the situation, okay? Didn't finish everything yesterday, so day 2. That's it. Thank you for coming to a 2-day cleaning vlog because I really needed it. And now my house is so lovely to live in. Yay. Hi, I'm Maiga and welcome back to Writing a Musical. I have to say I am a little bit out of practice of making these vlogs in this style. It's been a week since I've worked on the musical. I really decided to give myself like a full break after just focusing on this one project for 10 weeks. So, you know, I thought I'd step back, let things kind of germinate in my brain, come up with different ideas, different things I want to do. And it ended up working great, even though I was very afraid about it. It is currently 4:32 p.m. and the stream just ended, even though I forgot to leave it up. Ugh. For the first half of the sprint, I decided to upload all this TikTok content onto my YouTube page. So if you haven't followed that, make sure to check it out. Because first of all, I want, you know, to have a backup of everything I post here. That's not just on my phone, but on a completely different website. And secondly, I love the idea of, you know, exposing other people to musical theater things that I'm making, and especially kind of the audience that I've grown on there that has seen me create different style vlogs. So, you know, it not cross-pollination because TikTok is still going to get everything first by like months in advance, but there is a little nice thing to just be able to watch things back, if that makes any sense. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about that. Now, the actual reason I'm checking in with you today is that despite me working on just my YouTube channel for an hour and avoiding starting working on the musical because your girl was afraid, I honestly genuinely felt like I just lost everything about the musical and that I didn't really care about it anymore because there isn't a deadline. Yay, ADHD brain! So my goal this week, because I am not meeting with John again, is to actually plot out all the beats in the musical, which I did. Well, for the most part, let me show you. So because I'm a huge fan of authortube and John recommended this book, I actually bought Save the Cat Writes a Novel back when I first met with John, like in May. I actually referenced it in one of the earliest vlogs I've made here on TikTok if you actually want to hear my thoughts on it then. Now, chapter 2 is quite infamous if you've ever read about Save the Cat because it's meant to really help people who are plotters like me to sit down and like plot each major point for whatever it is they're writing. In this case, for the book, it would be a novel. But it actually ends up being super useful for me too, because musicals are actually written in 3 acts, even though it's usually the intermission happens in the 2nd act. We can talk about that more later if you want. But I was really scared to jump into plotting everything out because, again, I really feared that I didn't actually love the project and that I'd just done it for this admission thing, and yeah, I doubted myself. So I decided to tackle chapter 1 again. When I first started, I answered the questions from chapter 1 about my character, which at the time was Tracy. And so then I did it again with now Alejandra, and yes, part 2 of a 3-minute video. Hi, I'm Maiga, and welcome back to Writing a Musical, part 2 for a 3-minute video. I'm so sorry. But as I was saying, I answered the questions again for chapter 1, knowing way more about Alejandra, because after writing several drafts of the 3 songs that I submitted, I know the character pretty well, the needs and wants, and even though I haven't written their I Want song or their 11 o'clock number, I really feel I kind of know the arc that I want Alejandra to have. And I also realized I do have an idea of what I want the other characters' arcs to be, which was very surprising to me. But let me show you what I figured out from answering the question. First off, I figured out Alejandra's 11 o'clock number, which is gonna essentially boil down to I love myself for who I am, no matter the pain, the shame, the loss, I still have me. Because at that point in the story, I really think that for her to really love herself and understand kind of what she needs to accept about herself, like love about herself, love who she is authentically, she's going to lose both the person she loved most in her life, her mother, because yay for having conservative Latino parents, and also lose Megan to the lie that's been happening this whole time of, you know, Megan in the coffee shop. For those of you who want to know more about the plot twist, reference an earlier vlog. This also made me realize that even though Alejandra and Megan's love story is really the most compelling part for me, and I love to write about love and sing about love and all that good stuff, the main relationship in this show is a relationship between Alejandra and her mom, which I've decided to name Rosa, Mama Rosa to be exact. My mom is the only person who's gonna get that reference, and yeah. I think there's something really moving about good mother and daughter relationships, and also complicated ones, which is kind of what I want this to be. So answering these questions really brought the musical and just like cracked it open for me. I could see all the points that I know I need to have, and I know that I'm missing some. Like I'm missing a little bit of like the connecting between like the big picture points, but it feels nice to know that they're all there and they were all in my head this whole time, and I didn't fake it for this submission thing. Like, this is a musical I actually want to write and I want to tell. I always doubt kind of what I want to do, and in sitting down and working on this today, I remember just how much I love this project and that I'm not faking it for anything. Yay, I love having an ADHD brain that makes me doubt everything I feel. I needed to remind myself that I did it before, just in case, you know, this changes. But yeah, I plotted out Act 1 and then Act 2, again using a 3-act structure, but there it all is. I mean, I'm including the songs that I've already written, Show Some Restraint, The Background Check, and Alejandra, all of which I know are in Act 1. But then look at how big and complex these Act 2 things get. Honestly, talk about this forever, but I ran out of time again, so I'll see you tomorrow. Hi, I'm Maiga, and welcome back to another day in the life of a musical theater songwriter. I still haven't figured out how to do that intro very well, so it's gonna take some time, so I'm sorry for it being awkward, but I did just wash my hair and we are going to start practicing right now. So we have about 10 days left before we find out. Today's the 10th. And as per usual, I've been too scared to practice, but I'm gonna do it now, because if I don't get it, then I'll still know the songs right, but if I do get it, then I'll be prepared for the audition. I get the audition, I have to play 2 songs, and I know one of them is going to be Alejandra for sure. It's my ballad, it's the song that I like the best. So right now I think I'm just going to play through all of them and see where they all are in terms of like whether I can sing them well, whether I can play them well, and then make my decision about which one is going to be. I don't know at this point. I'm such a bad piano player that I don't want to hurt my chances by playing horribly. You know what I mean? We are all set up. There's my Songcraft file. So yeah, let's get practicing. Don't ask that to be unaddicted. I care about people just like you. SPL, SLV, I hate right in their bio. And they're a white guy. Please don't shut me out. I know you're filled with doubt. This is new for me too. She doesn't know. Okay, so I just played all 3, and yeah, your girl needs to practice a lot, because there is a big difference between mapping out everything in Logic Pro and having like a computer play back your biggest wishes and inspirations, and then you actually having to play it yourself. That is a completely different skill set. My hardest areas as of right now is for Show Some Restraint. I have a literal triplet chord that I need to play. Alejandra has an entire key change that I've never actually played in real life. I just like made it in Logic. Let's not even get started with the background check, which is like 3.5 minutes long, has all these different parts. I'm thinking that one's not the one that I'm going to play, but I should still practice. Like, what if they want to hear it? What if they want to hear 3 instead of 2? Outside of all the practicing, I think another thing I have to do is, because I rely so heavily on lead sheets, is to add my chords to my actual like score, because I think it will make me feel more confident and like more knowledgeable about the songs that I'm playing, because literally when I look at the score, I don't know what I'm playing. Like, I can read the single notes, but the chords just evade me. So yay, helping yourself succeed, baby. So anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna keep practicing, and I'm gonna make these like sort of daily vlogs until like I find out either the audition, and if I don't get it, then I'll stop making them. But then if I do get it, then I will continue making them and kind of keeping progress about where I'm at with these songs. So anyway, with that, see you tomorrow. Hi, I'm Maiga, and welcome back to Writing a Musical. Stream just ended. It was a really nice one, and I worked mostly on lead sheets and on my score, just trying to match these 2, especially background check. That thing is empty for a lead sheet. So while technically I've done nothing new in regards to the musical since yesterday and plotting out just the entire show, all the beats, etc., I did reach a major conclusion today that I want to talk to you about. I think my musical can really be summed up with, it's true that sometimes the people you love most don't even know you that well. Like how in Alejandra's case, even though her mom and her have such a close, tight-knit relationship and they love each other so much, Alejandra still feels like she can't tell her mom about her being queer because she feels like she will lose her because kind of this Hispanic conservative lifestyle, you know, her mom being from the old country, as I'm calling it, is such a predominant aspect of the culture that it feels like she will never really understand her, and in a way they'll never really know each other. There's always like something missing. That's something that I definitely will be exploring in the work. As I talked about, I think the heart of the piece for me is definitely Alejandra and her mom Mama Rosa together, although Mama Rosa is what everyone else calls her. She just calls her mommy, you know? But I think a fear that I have, and I think one that is well-founded, is that people will take from the show and be like, oh, it's self-referential in regards to my life, or she's writing about herself. And in a way, I love the separation between art and artist, that the work that I make doesn't particularly represent everything that I feel. And yet I know that I'm writing this more, you know, personal story, that I'm exploring themes in my life that I wish I could resolve in a way that is satisfactory to me and myself, or, you know, live in the nuance a little bit more. And that is something hard to admit, because this musical could very much flop. People could maybe not understand what I'm trying to go for. And in exposing myself in this way, there is that kind of fear about people just not getting what I'm trying to go for, people not understanding why the characters act the way that they do, you know? I was listening to Allegro by Rogerson Hammerstein during this sprint, and Allegro was a very intense part for Oscar Hammerstein. Like, you know, he was talking a little bit about his life and how he grew up and all that stuff. And when it didn't receive well, you know, he stopped trying to talk about his life in theater. And in a way, I want to keep doing that. I want to talk about things that matter to me, that are more personal, but then you are also exposing yourself to criticism on things that maybe don't need criticism, like your actual life. Anyway, the difference between art and artists, and how much personal you can get in musical theater, and, you know, the difference between singer-songwriter music and musical theater music, like, I don't know what the answer to that is. I just know that this story is about friends and family, and particularly my family and my friends, and that is something that is very hard to admit, and maybe I won't post this. Hi, I'm Maiga, and welcome back to another day in the life of a musical theater songwriter. Sicky edition. Yeah. Because I was feeling under the weather, I put on my favorite show, yes, My Hero Academia, and decided to just hang out with Jack. He's currently under there. Look at him being adorable. Boy. To make myself feel better, I decided to make a cup of iced tea. It was really delicious. I then kept watching My Hero Academia and tried working a little bit on my new series for TikTok, but I was feeling just like Jack, just under the weather and really, really sleepy. But I had to stay hyped for my boy Kirishima. Now, I did long to practice yesterday, but I was just not feeling good, and I'd rather practice well than practice badly, so I decided to lay on bed and read Save the Cat Writes Novel Chapter 2. Now, the thing about being sick is that you have to rest, but I don't do a good job with that, so I did try and get some reading in. Chapter 2 has actually been really, really informative, and I came to a lot of conclusions yesterday, but I have to be honest with y'all, after reading a couple of pages, I just was so exhausted that I just laid down and went to sleep. The nap made me feel a lot better, and I just spent the whole rest of the day resting with Jack. See you next time. Hi, I'm Maiga, and welcome back to Writing a Musical. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, and I just washed my face. Should have dried it off before filming this video, but it's a minor update, but it's actually kind of, I think, a breakthrough update, so I'm going to talk about it here very quickly. So while I've been laying in bed just kind of trying to feel better, I was reading Save the Cat, as I talked about earlier, and I've reached the infamous list of 15 beats. Now, as I was reading them over, I realized that in musical theater we have beats as well, more like song beats, really. You have a 9-1 song, an 11 o'clock number, the intro, the finale, a reprise of a similar thing, transition songs, etc., etc. So I'm thinking that it might be useful for me to sit down and plot out the points using this, along with the different songs that I need, and like create a meshed version together. So yeah, big revelation. Hi, I'm Maiga, and welcome back to A Day in the Life of a Musical Theater Songwriter Practice Vlog Edition. And yes, I know I'm peeling. Remember when I was sunburnt? Yeah, the ramifications of that are now apparent. Anyway, this morning has been a bit rough already because I woke up with the clear feeling in my gut of, I'm not gonna get this. Why am I still thinking that I'm gonna get this? There are actual like composers and lyricists that BMI could take, and I'm just a musical theater songwriter. There is a distinction for me, and I definitely am feeling the imposter syndrome very strongly. So yeah, that's really been kind of like demoralizing and clouding my day, but you know what? I can't let that get into my brain. I have to practice, and since I didn't practice yesterday because I was feeling under the weather, let's just do it now. I almost fell. So instead of practicing, I just was on TikTok and I went to stream, and during the tarot card reading, I pulled out Knight of Wands reversed. Like, pause to read. It is not what I wanted to hear. Then I pulled out 10 of Wands. Again, not what I wanted to hear. Then my chat stepped in and they were like, no, you are judging yourself. Temperance is what it actually is. You need to stop. And so then I sat down to practice after the stream was done. I think this has reminded me of two things. The first is that having people in your corner who believe in you, who isn't you full of anxiety and judgment and feeling like you're not enough. Having people in your camp who believe in what you are trying to make, the musical that you're trying to bring to life. All those things are just revolutionary, and I'm so thankful to have a community over on my Twitch channel and just here and everywhere, people who believe in what I'm doing. But I think the saddest and the hardest thing, now that it's been a couple days, now that I'm making this vlog, is that day all I wanted to do was cry because I got the feeling that I wasn't going to get it. And for that very reason, I thought that no matter, if I didn't get this, then I wasn't good enough. It doesn't matter that I've been working my ass off being a songwriter and working and writing songs and learning. It didn't matter because I wasn't good enough for this one thing that I applied, that I have ascribed all this, potential, and not only that, but worth to. I still feel like this. I haven't been able to write any new songs since I've submitted because I'm so afraid of the outcome. But no matter what, on Friday we find out, right? And I think it'll bring me peace no matter what happens. So yeah, I just sat down to practice anyway. And even though I'm not good at piano, even though I wrote this arrangement, it's mine. I can do this. And I just want to thank everyone who told me to get my head out of my ass and to believe in myself for once. So thanks. Hi, I'm Maiga, and welcome back to another day in the life of a musical theater songwriter, practice vlog edition. Yeah. So it was late, but I decided that it was the perfect time for me to actually do something that I've been ignoring as I've been practicing, which is to make functional score sheets. Now, for people who can read piano music easily, this isn't a problem, but for me, who uses mostly lead sheets, I thought it would be beneficial to add the chords to all the songs, which is something I've been talking about doing, but I'm actually doing here, and this is an example. I just put the chord above the melody line, and you can see it right there. The goal was to practice after that, but your girl just laid down to go to bed. Even though I didn't practice like I wanted to, looking over this course was really, really beneficial, and Jack kept me company. So see you next time.